Man, we're getting ready to go the next hour, and Diamond Dave McCulley's in the house. We're going to be talking about his brand new book, and we got Ricky Gates coming in, and Kenny Franks. We're going to talk about the Sportsplex, a lot of other things. This is where we started. This is our song of the day, because talking about Stax, we're going to talk about the two people from West Tennessee that made Stax Records. You know them? We do. We did, and we still do. Ready. That man could have sang the phone book and made it work, couldn't he? It could have. No doubt about it. Dock of the Bay and all that stuff became a huge hit after his death, along with most of the Barcades. Barcades were in this city just a couple of weeks ago. Still could kick this Stax stuff. We'll talk about the two people from West Tennessee responsible for Stax Records. And you need to know them. You need to know the music of this area. Diamond Dave McCulley is with us. What's the name of the book?
Blue versus Red. The Night Jackson Stood Still.
The Night Jackson Stood Still. Blue versus Red. And we're going to get details of that coming up next. Dave McCulley's in the house. Ricky Yates coming in. Kenny Franks coming in a little bit later. And Tony Cale and all kinds of folks. It's happening right here. It's Blue Suede Forever. It's raining outside in Jackson, Tennessee. It's wet between here and Shelby County, Tennessee. As this system moves through, we'll catch the brunt of this early and then get that out of the way. We'll see how long the rain lasts. By this afternoon, should have some partly sunny skies maybe. But you can tell from that Delta Weather radar that it's tough going right now. If you want to, that's right next door. We got country potatoes and biscuits and gravy and scrambled eggs and cheesy eggs and biscuits with bacon or sausage or ham. Looking for a home today. And it's the Dixie Cafe, a brand new way to wake up, get out in the morning, and then that Farmer's Perk coffee. You can't get that anywhere else in this city this morning, except right here. So you get us on your list. And that's the Dixie Cafe inside the old country store in the Casey Jones Village. If you're listening to us on the interstate, we're right off exit 80. If you listen to us in England, whatever, when you come over here, then you look us up. And we plan on being here. Need to get a note in about these folks. All Seasons Refrigeration and Air Conditioning. They are Jackson's comfort specialist. If you're debating what comfort system to get for your home, you can stop that discussion right now, because the Train heating and air conditioning system from All Seasons Refrigeration will keep you cool in the summer, cozy, warm in the winter. It'll give you peace of mind, because it's hard to stop a Train. Train comes with a 5-year warranty on parts, 5-year warranty on parts, and a 2-year all-seasons refrigeration and air conditioning warranty on labor. That takes a load off. And if you'll have them check your system every year, which we don't, and then we don't understand why after about 10 years they start breaking ass, because we never maintained anything or cleaned the air filters or changed the air filters, done any of that stuff. And so, it's our fault. You can work with them. Bob Jenkins and those folks will work with you, and they'll do a service thing every year or whatever. So make the investment, take care of it, and it'll last a long, long time. They're at 1008 Old Hickory Boulevard in Jackson. Their number is 664-3989, 664-3989, and that's All Season Refrigeration and Air Conditioning. It's a pleasure to welcome to the show, making his first appearance with us, and a lifelong friend. How are you doing? I feel like he's a lifelong friend. I mean, we didn't grow up together. We've sort of spent several decades together now.
We've known each other back from, back in the 80s, I guess.
Yeah, I guess it started. I was thinking the other day, because Dixie, so many people came through Dixie. Tom Britt worked at Dixie, and I was talking to Jimmy Duke, whom I associate with J.K., Tom Mason. Well, they all worked at Dixie.
I started back there in 1982. Tom told me not to get in the business. I didn't listen to him, did it anyway. And I learned very quickly from the lovely Betty Mastic.
Okay.
Don't say 1310, say 1310.
Okay.
And if the temperature was 63 outside, what was it inside? So I was schooled well, but enjoyed those days.
Not 1310, 1310.
Yeah.
10.
Don't say night, say night.
All that stuff. No one will understand me, Betty.
Fun days.
But Betty ran a great. She's in Texas now. We wish her the best. Lost a son, this year and last year and all that stuff. And so anyway, but Betty was this dear person and a big part of radio here in Jackson, Tennessee. Of course, Toonie Freeman and all that stuff. They were there with Aaron Robinson. It was part of the Aaron Robinson Dixie Network, not their original station. They started in Corinth. Doris Freeman filled out the paperwork and all that stuff. And
they brought the concerts in, and I remember one night Dave and Sugar was there.
Okay.
They let me introduce Dave and Sugar.
All right.
But when it got to the big stars, their own people did it. I remember Conway was there, and
there's an opening act.
And the guy comes on and he says, "Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Open Arena, Conway 20," and he doesn't come out. And the people are in a frenzy.
Right.
And then he does it about 3 times, and then finally he goes, Hello, darling.
From the from behind
and the place goes wild.
Right. Yeah, in the dark, that voice comes. Yeah. Dave McCulley is here, long time in radio, and now the sports information director for Bethel University. How's it going up there?
Going real well. I just got back from Montgomery, Alabama. We were down there for almost a week. The men and the women both played in the tournament there. Broadcast the games. The men, unfortunately, were eliminated in the first game. Women made it to the title game and then lost by 10.
Okay, well, they go to the national
tournament.
They'll
go to the national tournament in Billings, Montana
Billings,
next week.
Montana.
Montana, yeah. You know, the tournament left here.
Right.
We talk about this in the book a lot, but the tournament left here, went to Frankfurt, and they never really were able to capture what Mary Beth Hopper and all the gang here did. And there 2 years, then went out to Independence, Missouri. Great venue, a hockey arena actually, just outside Kansas City there, just not far from all the ballparks and football stadium. And I thought it was going really well. And then for some reason last year they said, no, we don't want it back. And Billings, Montana is freezing rain there Sunday when everyone flies in. Yeah.
Wow. And so the tournament will be at Billings, Montana. Dave McCulley is with us because he's got a brand new book, and it's just out.
Right. It will be out next week.
Coming out next week.
Sometime.
And you're going to be doing a signing. You're going to be doing a signing here.
Be doing a book signing here from Clark and the gang have been so gracious to have me out. We'll be here on March the 25th on a Saturday, and we'll be signing the book and the ice cream parlor from 9 till noon.
9 on the 25th.
On the 25th. That's the same day True Blue Day is going on at Lambeth, so it works hand in hand. And then that night, Joe Reitz, who's the head coach of the victorious Lady Eagles, he's coming back to town.
Is that right?
I think the entire team is going to be here except the kids from New Zealand and Australia. Tara Robinson will not make it. Caleb and Melissa Harrison will not make it. Caleb was obviously one of the assistant coaches, but it's just too far. They'll not make it. But everyone else with family members and friends are invited at the ballroom. It will take place at 6 o'clock on the campus of Lambeth. University of Memphis at Lambeth is gracious to allow us to be there. So it's going to have a reunion, and it's the 10-year reunion.
What year was that game?
2007, March the 19th.
That's 10 years ago.
10 years ago. That's the reason I've been thinking about writing the book, Steve, for a couple of years, and I thought, well, you know, memories are so special to all of us, but some of them fade from time to time. But I thought this was a memory we never want to just completely fade out of existence. So that's the reason the book.
Okay. The book is called Blue
versus Red, The Night Jackson Stood Still.
The Night Jackson Stood Still because it was tournament time and in the finals.
It was the semifinals.
Semifinals.
Lambeth had not beaten Union since the 1999-2000 season. Union had dominated the series. I mean, it was just unbelievable, the numbers, and we'll bring that up in the book, of course. But they'd beaten them late in the year at Fred DeLay on a stick back by Megan Fuqua, our lovely buddy from Martin Westview that came to Lambeth and played 2 years. And then that was the only time they'd beaten them since 99-2000. And then they get to the semifinals. Most people thought Union would three-peat. They were the two-time defending champions, and Lambeth, lo and behold, upset them and then went on to win the next night. It was almost like the Americans beating the Russians in hockey. The next night, Lambeth still had some work to do because they had to beat Cumberland University for the national title.
And they did. We'll get into the details of that. We're going to take you back with Clyde McFadder. He was in a group, and Jackie Wilson was going to follow him as the lead singer. He was leaving this group. And when you hear Clyde McFadder, you can see how there was some influence on Jackie Wilson, that high singing that he would come to do and trademark in a sense. But this is Clyde McFadder, Lover Please. Diamond Dave McCulley is with us, and we're going to talk about Blue versus Red as we continue.
Please come back. Don't take a train coming down the track. Don't leave me. Don't leave me in misery. You would never hold me so near.
For expires to 2817 CB for complete details.
The rain is working its way through Jackson and West Tennessee right now. Fortunately for us, it's coming in now. It was extremely severe. There were multiple tornadoes, several different areas of this country, but it has settled down a lot for us here, and so we're doing okay compared to a lot of the rest. And so it's working its way through. We have the severe thunderstorm watches and all until noon today, but that'll get out of the way. Cool things down a bit, and all in all, not bad. Some notes in news today. In politics, Randy Boyd, former Commissioner of Economic and Community Development, announced yesterday he's going to run for governor next year in the Republican primary in August, joining State Senator Mark Green, who's already declared as a Republican candidate. Carl Dean, the former mayor of Nashville, that's Carl with a K, has announced he will seek the Democrat nomination. So there are three main candidates that are in. A lot of people will get in that race, but whatever. Former State Senator Doug Henry died at age 90 yesterday. He was elected to the House in 1954 and to the Senate in 1970. He didn't leave office until 2000. He decided not to run for re-election in 2014. He was the longest-serving state legislator in Tennessee, and commendation statements came from Bob Corker, who worked with him when he was finance commissioner, Lamar Alexander, who worked with him as governor and as the president of the University of Tennessee. They were all commending him for his career. bipartisanship that he took care of his citizenry in Tennessee, and somebody that'll be missed. Robert Osborne died yesterday. The guy that won Turner Classic Movies for years. If you watch Turner Classic Movies, he had a stately presence and would introduce the movies and tell you about them and interview folks. He was 84 years of age, and so he passed away yesterday. And congratulations to Freed Hardeman's head basketball coach, Jim Sanderson, who got his 500th career win over the weekend. So a big day for him. And also, one other note about some folks in the news here. The boys basketball teams, Haywood and Humboldt, going to the state tournament. They went to overtime. Humboldt and Middleton, 86-80. Humboldt wins that one, and then Haywood and Southside, always classic battle, 62-58. There you go. Talking basketball with Diamond A. McCulley, and the book is called Blue versus Red, The Night Jackson Stood Still, taking us back to the NAIA tournament in 2007. That goes back 10 years. 10 years. By the way, Elvis will have died 40 years ago this year. So that's going to be a big, big day down at Graceland.
Big day at Graceland.
From
Hey, by the way,
2017.
Coach Sanderson, you're an Alabama fan. You know
Right.
Coach Sanderson at Freed Hardeman. You know his father.
No.
Wimp.
Wimp, is that right?
Wimp, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, I didn't know
Sure
that.
does.
Well, that's great.
His other son coaches over in the SSAC and the Southern States Athletic Conference as well.
That's
So
right. Well,
two
I'm
have
glad you
followed
pointed
his
that out.
legacy.
Well, man, I'll send him a lot more money now.
Absolutely, yeah.
Athletic Pro would say,
Good coach.
I don't think he's ever sent us a dime.
Yeah.
He goes, okay. Blue versus Red, what all does it cover, Dave?
It covers the thing I'm proud of, Steve. It covers the game. It takes both teams, Union and Lambeth, and beginning of the season, takes you all the way through each respective season.
Okay.
We have sections of the book that's devoted to Union. I think the Union people, even though they did not like the final outcome of the game,
Right.
I think they'll enjoy the book. It's informational about Union. Talks about their previous All-Americans. They were they had All-Americans every year for 20 years, either first team, second team, or third team. Lambeth had Tamika Boga. That was it until 2007.
Okay.
And nothing against the other Lambeth kids that had played there. But it talks about the legacy of the programs other than just the game. It covers a lot of the city history. It talks about the biggest employer of Jackson-Madison County Journal. We go over who the mayors were. We go back to the founding of Jackson. Cousin Tooney's mentioned in the book.
Okay.
Carl, Ed Tootal Jones. We bring up a lot of the legacy of Jackson in the beginning of the book. You're in the book, as a matter of fact. You
Wow.
and Tom Britt, Tom Mapes. We mention all you guys and talk about your legacy a little bit as well. And we sort of segment that in certain fashions to complement the book, and the book is complemented by those folks mentioned. I did do one thing sort of consciously throughout the writing of the book. I thought the more people I mentioned, the more people buy the book. But anyway, it was an honor to write the book. It covers the seasons, and then it gets into the postseasons, and then it covers the game, and it breaks down the game. I was fortunate, 2 weeks to the night after this game, the next night when Lambeth won the national title, Peggy and I lost our home to a fire in Trenton.
Okay.
We live here in Jackson. We lived here since then, but lost our little dog, Hannah, which we still grieve over. But I was fortunate in the fact that when the home burned, there was part of the one room that didn't totally burn, and it was a room that I had devoted to a sort of my sports collection, the Pistol Pete, the Kentucky, the Yankee stuff. Some of it was saved, some of it wasn't. But one of the things that was saved was in a box was all the audio tapes of these particular games in that tournament.
Okay. Wow.
And so I went back. I had the idea to write the book a couple of years ago. I knew we were coming up on the 10-year anniversary. And so, Steve, I decided I sit down probably March or April of last year, about this time last year, and I would sit in my recliner every night with the headsets on and have to listen to myself.
Listen to yourself.
And I transcribed basically, and so it took me over a month to just do that. And so what you read in the book, if it says Reggie Maddox scored a jumper with 2:32 left in the half, I'd like to think she did that. I mean, it's real factual is what I'm saying. So I was blessed. The Lord blessed me with that.
To have that archive of that stuff.
Absolutely.
Wow.
So I have that. Then we had some yearbooks and things that were still in my Lambeth office up on the second floor of the athletic center. So I was gracious with that. Steve Aldridge out at Union was so gracious. One of my best friends, the SID there, and one of the best in the business, if not the best. He was able to help me with some Union things as well. And so then later in the book, after we take you through the seasons, we get to the game. Of course, there was a famous shot. Up to that point in time, the Lott shot, Jerry Lott's daughter, she'd hit a shot at midcourt that advanced Lambeth a couple of years prior to this, well, back even several years before this, and advanced them to the next round. And that had been, the Lott shot was the most famous shot in Lambeth basketball history. Well, Dee Pryor, young lady from Central High School in Memphis, she had come to Lambeth, and she hit the jumper that obviously proved to be the game winner in this particular game. So we take a chapter and we just say the shot. And we go through the shot, we go through how it happened, why it happened, bang, bang, bang. And then I am real proud of the fact that I sent a survey to each player and each coach, and everyone responded except maybe a couple.
Okay.
And I asked them practices. What did you think about Joe Rice's practices? And I think Megan Fuqua sent the best answer back. She said, "You got to be kidding." I mean, the 4-hour practices. And then we have a section in there, the shot.
Okay.
We have a section in there, what does the championship mean to you?
Okay.
And so
there's some follow-up then.
Yeah, word. And after we go through the game in the book, there's actually the follow-up is the players' thoughts. And then we have a chapter called Then and Now. Dee Pryor was a junior that year.
Right.
We talk about her being from Central High School in Memphis. We talk about her transferring. We talk about her injuries that year, and then what she's doing now.
Okay.
And so it was a pleasure.
Okay.
It was a labor of love. I would sit up to 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, Steve, and I got to be honest with you. There were some mornings I'd sit up to 2, and then I started putting it on the computer probably about July. And it took me several months to write it, but there was mornings I'd wake up literally at the computer, and there was mornings I would cry. I'd have tears in my eyes. There was mornings I'd be laughing about something that happened.
Okay.
So for me to write the book, it's more of a blessing, I think, for me to write the book, and I hope it's a blessing for people that buy the book. And by the way, it's on sale right now.
Right
too,
now,
by the way.
Blue
You can
versus
pre-order.
Red. Blue versus Red. The night Jackson stood still when Union and Lambeth met in the NAIA 2007 tournament semifinals, and then Lambeth would go on to win the national title. That's the only national title in the history.
Only national title of any nature of the school. I got to tell you a great story about Pepper Bray. I'll do my Pepper Bray imitation for you. In the book, we bring this up. Coach writes, he comes into town. He's at the Comfort Inn.
All right.
Nothing against folks at the Comfort Inn.
Right.
But he said he knew they were going to hire him because the next night they put him up at the DoubleTree. but he meets Pepper Bray. He meets Pepper for the interview, and Pepper, in his own stylish way, says, "Now, Joe, the girls, they're good girls. They can't shoot. They can't rebound and they can't dribble, but they're really good and they want to win."
So that's what we got waiting for you here.
Yeah.
All right. You stay in contact with these folks? I guess you have in the surveys and stuff?
As you mentioned Facebook a moment ago, Facebook is the biggest blessing. There's some things on Facebook obviously we all don't like.
Right.
But in this case, Facebook has been a blessing. Twitter, we stayed in touch. And I've stayed in touch with these kids, many of them, being the play-by-play guy those years and being the SID. That game is still to me, the favorite game of my broadcast career. And I have some really favorite ones out there. And that team, I'll be honest with you, is my favorite team, not just because, and normally announcers don't like to do that, but they're my favorite team, not just because they won, but because of the kind of people they were and they still are.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dave McCulley, the book is called Blue versus Red. It is the night Jackson stood still when Union and Lambeth met in the semifinals of the NAI, and Lambeth would go on to win the national title by defeating Cumberland the next night. The NAI tournament was a big deal here in this city. It's been 10 years now. There's going to be a book signing coming up May 25th here at the Old Country Store. What time?
From 9 to noon.
9 till noon on the 25th. That'll be a Saturday.
That's right.
And then there's a reunion of this team at the University of Memphis Lambeth campus coming up that evening.
In the ballroom, 6 o'clock.
6 o'clock. Do you get tickets for that? Can you get tickets?
You can buy tickets. You can go to my Facebook, and I'll make sure that. And by the way, we'll be signing and selling the book there that night as well.
Okay.
But 731-358-5791. If you need some info, I have all the info about how to buy the book and also about the reunion. 358-5791. 5791. And they can email me at McCulley D. That's McCulleyd at BethelU.edu.
BethelU.edu. And so you're on Facebook, and so you can get
Facebook.
Can you order the book there as well?
Yes, sir. You sure can.
Order the book.
Absolutely.
Right. And so it will be out officially
sometime Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday of next week.
Okay.
Yeah, one of those days.
Dave.
My pleasure, buddy.
My pleasure.
Always,
I appreciate you so very much. Yeah,
good luck on the show. Doing great.
Thank you.
Really enjoy it.
We've been working. We've been working this business for decades, and Tom Britt and all these guys just great camaraderie here. Mapes and Duke and all these people.
Yeah, I talk about that in the book, and I know you got to run, but I bring up some of the radio personalities and the games and all those kind of things. Right. Yeah.
Appreciate it so very much, Dave McCulley. Ricky Yates and Franks are coming in with us, and we're going to talk about the Sportsplex and things going on there, and so we got things happening here. And glad you're with us. Rainfall is coming through.
Covered Ricky's daughter, Brittany, at TCA.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, sure
okay,
did.
man. Well, that is great. Eddie Franks and Ricky Yates coming up. And come see us. We're inside the Old Country Store at Casey Jones Village. And then we got Tony Kale coming in with us. We got a lot of things happening here. So we're looking at the rainfall, and we'll keep you posted on all that. Come out and see us. Old Country Store, Casey Jones Village. We're at the Dixie Cafe for Blue Suede Forever. And that's Blue versus Red, the night Jackson stood still. Be signed here the 25th, and then the reunion the 25th. And Dave McCulley will get you details.
Oh, I wake up in the morning with my hair down.